Before this year slips away like all the others, pause and ask yourself one honest question. Have I truly given myself the chance to become who I'm capable of being? Because 2026 isn't just another date on the calendar. It's a test of how much you value your own potential. You owe it to yourself to stop surviving and start defining. This is the year that can shift your story, your mindset, your entire direction, if you choose to claim it. So as you listen today, I want you to forget everything that held you back before. For the next few minutes, imagine what your life could look like if you decided that this year, your year, will define you. Every once in a while, life hands us a year that feels different, not because the world around us has suddenly changed, because we feel something stirring inside. It's subtle at first, a quiet restlessness, a feeling that the way things have been just isn't enough anymore. You wake up one morning, maybe it's January 1st, maybe it's some random Tuesday, you realize you're done repeating the same story, you're ready for a new chapter. But this time you're writing it intentionally. That's what 2026 represents. It's not just another year. It's not another cycle of resolutions that fade by February. This is a moment, your moment to look at your life and say, I'm not settling anymore. Because here's the truth. You've been preparing for this moment far longer than you realize. Every failure, every setback, every disappointment has been shaping you. They weren't there to break you. They were building the foundation for who you can become now. Think about it. How many times have you said, next year will be different? How many times have you promised yourself that you'll finally take the leap, start the business, mend the relationship, change your health, all in on your dream, only to let life distract you back into comfort? We all do it. We get caught in the pattern of almost starting, almost believing, almost becoming. But this, right now, this is your invitation to stop living in almost. 26 isn't asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be present, to wake up and recognize that time isn't waiting for your fears to disappear. You don't need a miracle. You need a decision. One decision that says, this is it. Done watching my potential sit on the sidelines. You see, there are years when life drifts, and there are years when life defines. This is the year that can define you. Because when you finally decide to shift from someday to now, everything changes. The world around you starts to align in ways you couldn't see before. Opportunities appear, not because they weren't there, because you finally stepped into the mindset to recognize them. Let's be honest, most people underestimate the power of one decisive year. They think transformation takes decades. It doesn't. It takes focus, hunger, a refusal to let the old story run your life. 1 year of clarity can rewrite your entire identity. But it starts with awareness. You have to see that you're standing at a turning point. And turning points are rarely comfortable. They challenge your patterns, your relationships, your beliefs about what's possible. Some of you might feel like you've already missed your chance. Maybe you've failed too many times. Maybe you've been through pain that's hardened you. Maybe you think it's too late to reinvent yourself. I want to tell you, it's never too late to demand more from life. The moment you choose to expect more, the moment you refuse to keep living below your potential, everything shifts. Because energy follows intention. And when you set the intention that 2026 is going to be your defining year, your brain, your body, your spirit, they start to work together. You stop fighting your past and start using it. You stop fearing uncertainty and start seeking it because you realize growth only lives on the other side of uncertainty. Now, here's the key. This turning point won't announce itself with fireworks. Come with a sign that says, now is the time. It's going to come in quiet moments when you're tired, when you're doubting yourself, when it'd be easier to quit. That's when the defining choice happens. It's not about motivation. It's about commitment. Motivation fades, but commitment builds muscle. 2026 can be the year you look back on and say, that's when I finally woke up, but it won't happen by accident. You've got to claim it. You've got to step into it with intention, with hunger, with courage. Decide that you're done letting fear, procrastination, or self-doubt run the show, because no one is coming to save you. No opportunity will feel perfect. No timing will feel right. If you take ownership of this year, truly own it, you'll never look at yourself the same way again. Every breakthrough you've ever wanted starts with a single moment of recognition. The moment you realize that you are the turning point, not the economy, not your circumstances, not luck. You've been waiting for the right year, the right opportunity, the right time. But maybe 2026 isn't the year you've been waiting for. Maybe it's the year that's been waiting for you. Because when you finally see that the door has always been unlocked, you stop asking for permission to walk through it. You stop negotiating with your limitations. You start living with purpose. And that's when life opens up, not in theory, not someday, right here, right now. So make this the year you stop postponing the life you deserve. Make this the year you decide that your story, your growth, your fulfillment, they're worth everything you've got. Because 2026 isn't just another year. It's the year that will define you if you let it. Once you've made the decision that this year, 2026 is your turning point, there's something you need to understand deep down. Nothing will change unless you do. You can't carry the same habits, the same mindset, the same stories, and expect a different result. You've got to shift the way you see yourself, because transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens by investment. The most powerful investment you can make is in you. You are your greatest project. The truth is, we spend so much time investing in everything else, in work, in relationships, in appearances, distractions. But how much time do we spend investing in the one thing that determines how all of those things perform? Ourselves. Most people don't fail because they lack resources. They fail because they stop being resourceful. They stop feeding their mind, their body, their spirit. They stop growing, and the moment you stop growing, you start dying inside. Growth isn't about achieving more things. It's about becoming more. It's about upgrading your inner operating system. Because when you grow, everything else in your life rises with you. Your confidence, your clarity, your energy, your relationships, your impact. But growth doesn't happen in comfort. It requires you to stretch, to face the truth about where you are, to do something about it. So many people wait for permission to grow. They think someone has to hand them an opportunity or give them the right environment. But here's the reality. Growth starts when you take ownership. When you decide, I don't need anyone else to tell me it's my time. I'll build my own foundation. I'll create my own momentum. The most successful people you admire didn't have it all figured out. They started where they were with what they had. They kept building themselves. They made progress non-negotiable. And that's the mindset you need in 2026. You've got to wake up each day and treat yourself like a work in progress, not with pressure, but with pride. Because the moment you see yourself as your greatest project, you stop wasting time on things that don't build you. You stop chasing validation and you start chasing mastery. You stop blaming your past and you start designing your future. You've got to make a commitment to feed your mind every single day. Read, listen, learn, observe, not for entertainment, but for elevation. Don't just fill your head with information, fill your soul with transformation. If you give your mind the right fuel, it will lead you to the right actions. And the actions you take consistently shape the destiny you create. But growth isn't just mental. It's physical, emotional, and spiritual. Take care of your energy. Move your body. Eat in a way that gives you life, not just comfort. You can't have a strong mind trapped in a weak body. You can't live with passion if you're exhausted, stressed, or disconnected. When you feel good, you think clearer. You think clearer, you act bolder. When you act bolder, you create momentum. And momentum is the key to lasting change. And yes, growth can be uncomfortable. You'll outgrow certain people's habits, even environments that once felt safe. That's okay. You're not supposed to stay the same. If something or someone isn't helping you expand, it's shrinking you. And this year, you can't afford to keep shrinking just to fit where you no longer belong. Investing in yourself doesn't always mean grand gestures. Sometimes it's choosing to get up earlier to work on your dream. Sometimes it's reading instead of scrolling. Sometimes it's saying no to what drains you and yes to what strengthens you. Each small act compounds. Each decision plants a seed, and over time, those seeds grow into confidence, clarity, capability, the foundation of every great transformation. Let's be real, life will test you. There will be days you'll want to quit when it feels like your effort isn't paying off, but that's when growth is happening beneath the surface. Just because you don't see results yet doesn't mean the process isn't working. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep feeding the fire, because you're not just changing what you do, you're changing who you are. And when that shift happens, when your identity catches up with your goals, everything changes. You no longer have to push yourself to act like the person you want to be. You become that person naturally. That's real power. That's transformation. You owe it to yourself in 2026 to treat your growth as sacred, because the stronger you grow, the more you can give. The more you expand, the more you can lead, love, and serve. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't inspire from a place of exhaustion. Fill yourself first, mentally, physically, spiritually, and you'll overflow with the strength to create the life you've always wanted. So this year, make a promise, not to anyone else, to yourself, to show up, to invest, to grow no matter how slow it feels. Because at the end of 2026, you won't just look back at what you achieved, you'll look back at who you became. And that version of you, confident, capable, fully alive, will be proof that when you invest in yourself, you never lose. Because the truth is, you are the best investment you will ever make. This is the year to prove it. Fear is the one thing that has stopped more dreams than failure ever could. And the crazy part, most of the time, the fear isn't even real. It's a story we've told ourselves so many times that it starts to feel like truth. Fear of not being ready. Fear of not being enough. Fear of what people will think if we actually go for it and fall flat on our face. Let me tell you something. If you let fear make your decisions, you're not living, you're surviving. You're building a life inside invisible walls. And this is the year that has to stop. 2026 is not the year to play small. It's not the year to let excuses sound logical. It's the year to break the cycle, to stop listening to the voice that whispers, what if I fail? And start answering back with, what if I fly? Because every breakthrough, every great moment in human history, every person who ever built something extraordinary had fear too. The difference, they acted anyway. They didn't wait for courage to show up. They created it through action. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward in spite of it. It's choosing progress over perfection. The people who win in life aren't fearless. They just refuse to be controlled by fear. They know fear's a liar. It tells you that you can't, that it's too late. You'll embarrass yourself. But when you push past it, even once, you realize how small it actually was compared to your potential. Think back on your own life. Every time you've grown, every time you've stretched, there was fear right there beside you. Maybe it was before a big change, a new opportunity, a difficult conversation, a leap into the unknown. And yet, the moment you did it, the moment you stepped forward, what happened? You felt alive. That's not coincidence. That's life responding to courage. So many people say they're waiting for the right time to start, to speak, to take a chance. But here's the truth. Fear will always find a reason to delay you. There's no perfect time, no ideal moment where you suddenly feel ready. Readiness is a decision. You become ready by doing. The first step is always the hardest because it requires faith. It requires you to move before you see the full picture. Once you take it, the path starts to unfold. You've got to understand, excuses are seductive. They sound reasonable. They sound safe. I'll do it when I have more money. I'll try when I have more time. Change when things calm down. But those moments rarely come. Excuses are just comfort in disguise. They protect you from short-term pain, but cost you long-term fulfillment. Every time you give into one, you reinforce the idea that your comfort matters more than your calling. And that's how years slip by while your potential stays locked away. This year, it's time to reverse that pattern. Instead of asking, what if it doesn't work? Start asking if it does. Instead of shrinking every time you feel doubt, remind yourself that doubt is a signal. It means you're on the edge of something important. If your goals don't scare you a little, they're not big enough, is the price of admission for a life that matters. You can't avoid it. You can only outgrow it by walking through it. And yes, that's uncomfortable. Growth always is. But discomfort is the training ground for greatness. Every time you push through fear, your confidence expands. You start realizing that you're far more capable than you've ever given yourself credit for. You stop overthinking and start trusting. Because deep down, you already know what you need to do. Fear just keeps you from doing it. So how do you break free? You act before you talk yourself out of it. You take one small, bold step every single day. You stop waiting for clarity because clarity comes through action, not before it. You do the thing that makes your stomach tighten, your palms sweat, your heart race, because that's where life begins again. And don't get me wrong, fear doesn't vanish. It evolves. So do you. The difference is that when you make courage a habit, fear stops being a wall and becomes a signal. A reminder that you're growing, that you're alive, that you're playing at a higher level. Fear is not your enemy. It's your compass pointing toward the areas that matter most. So in 2026, make courage your default setting. Don't aim to live without fear. Aim to live beyond it. When you feel hesitation creep in, step back, lean in. When the voice in your head says you can't, reply, watch me. Because the truth is, fear only wins if you let it dictate your choices. And this year, you owe it to yourself to stop letting fear drive your life. There's power waiting on the other side of the fear you've been avoiding. There's freedom, fulfillment, and a sense of pride you can't imagine yet. And it's all waiting for you to take that first imperfect step. The one that says, I'm done letting fear decide who I become because this is your year to rise and fear doesn't get a vote anymore. You know, it's one thing to have a breakthrough moment, to feel that spark of change, that rush of determination, but it's another thing entirely to sustain it because motivation fades, excitement fades, even clarity fades. What lasts, what really defines your future is momentum. Momentum doesn't come from intensity for a week. It comes from consistency over time. That's the real secret. Success isn't about doing everything perfectly once. It's about doing the right things repeatedly, even when no one's watching, even when it's not convenient. Most people underestimate what they can do in a year and overestimate what they can do in a week. They start strong, they push hard, and then they burn out because they thought change had to feel like a sprint. But the truth, life's not a sprint. It's a marathon of moments where you choose to keep showing up. When you decide to build momentum, you're not just chasing goals anymore. You're creating a lifestyle. You're building systems that make growth automatic, teaching your mind and body how to stay in motion. Because once you have momentum, it carries you through the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Momentum makes progress inevitable. Think about it like this. You push a giant rock that's been still for years, it's going to take everything in you to get it moving. You'll strain, you'll sweat, and for a while, it might feel like nothing's happening. Once that rock starts rolling even a little, it takes less and less effort to keep it going. That's how life works too. The hardest part is starting. The second hardest part is staying consistent long enough to let the momentum build. Once it does, it feels like the universe itself is working with you instead of against you. In 2026, that's what you need to focus on. Not just creating results, but creating momentum, because results can disappear, but momentum compounds. It builds confidence. It makes progress addictive. You start stacking small wins, and suddenly what used to feel impossible starts feeling inevitable. So how do you build it? You start small and stay consistent. You stop waiting for the perfect plan and start executing the one you have. You make progress a daily ritual, something you do whether you feel like it or not, because that's how champions are built. Through repetition, discipline, emotional endurance. Maybe your goal this year is to transform your health. Don't aim to lose 30 pounds overnight. Start by walking, moving, drinking more water, fueling your body right. Do it again tomorrow and the next day. The first week it'll feel tough. The second week it'll feel routine. The third week it'll feel like part of who you are. That's momentum. When the effort that used to drain you now drives you. Or maybe your goal is to grow your career or business. Just dream big, structure it. Set systems, measure your progress, hold yourself accountable. Build habits that serve your vision. Because habits are what sustain you when excitement fades. When everyone else is resting, habits keep you running. Here's the key, you've got to protect your momentum like it's sacred. Don't let negativity, distraction, or other people's limitations interrupt your rhythm. Every time you let self-doubt take over, every time you let procrastination win, you break the flow. And getting it back takes twice as much effort. So build a rhythm, build an environment, build relationships that push you forward, not ones that pull you back. Momentum is also about trust. Trusting that the effort you put in today will create the life you want tomorrow. You might not see the payoff immediately. That's okay. Growth doesn't happen in the moment you plant the seed. It happens when you keep watering it. Every day you show up, you're compounding energy, experience, and confidence. And that's how legacies are built, through small daily deposits of discipline and purpose. If you want 2026 to define you, make it the year you stop chasing quick results and start building sustainable momentum. Make it the year you stop asking, how long will it take? And start saying, as long as it takes. Because when you commit to the process, results take care of themselves. And remember, momentum isn't just about achieving goals. It's about becoming someone who keeps moving forward. Someone who doesn't get stuck when life hits hard. Because it will. There will be setbacks. There will be failures. There will be days that test everything you believe about yourself. But if you've built momentum, if you've built strength through consistency, those moments won't break you. They'll refine you. They'll remind you of you're capable of overcoming. At the end of 2026, when you look back, you won't remember every single action you took, but you'll feel the result of every decision to keep going when it was hard. You'll see how those little acts of discipline, those moments when you chose persistence over comfort, built the life you're living. That's what legacy really is. Not something you leave behind, something you build every single day with your choices. Because this year, you're not just creating success, you're creating momentum that will carry you beyond it. Momentum that will make every future year stronger, more purposeful, more alive. And when you have that, you'll never go back to standing still again. Because 2026 isn't just about who you become. It's about setting the motion for everything that comes after.